Good afternoon. I wanted to go ahead and post a video for you to give you some guidance on the assignment for this module, Module 1. So if you have already gone ahead and uploaded that assignment, just listen and compare what you've done to what I'm showing you on here to make sure it is done correctly. If there is a report that you maybe didn't choose the right report for or have the right information on, you do have the opportunity to go ahead and upload the correct report. If you haven't started this yet, one thing that is really important to remember is you need to create a profile, a username, a password, so you can go back to this and log on for future assignments. If you don't create a profile or don't remember your username, your information isn't saved, and when you go back for a later part of the assignment, you'll have to start over from the beginning. So that would just kind of be a waste of time. So make sure you do create a profile. In this instance, this specific profile is for Susan. If we have other clients that we are working with, then we can add additional profiles. But for now, we're just working with Susan. So this screen that we're on right here is for the food tracker and putting in the actual foods that she ate, which can be found in the assignment outline. I do want to draw your attention to a couple things on this screen. First off, I want to talk a little about the daily calorie limit. What this shows is her recommended calorie needs to obtain the goals that she wants to achieve and calculated specifically for her based on her height, her weight, her age, her gender, and her activity level. So again, she wants to maintain weight. So her calorie needs are 2,200 calories, and it is important that she closely meet these needs if she does want to maintain weight. If she's under them, she'll lose weight and potentially not meet her vitamin and mineral needs as well as her protein, carb, fat needs per what's recommended. If she's over this, then she potentially might gain weight and potentially might be over in some of the nutrients that she wants to have some moderation in. So losing weight or gaining weight may or may not be, a good thing or a bad thing. It really just depends on our client's goals. So that's something we want to think about and customize per them. Oftentimes we might think that consuming calories under what we need is what we always want to do, and that's not entirely accurate. And we'll talk about that a little later on in the course. But for now, again, we're trying to meet that 2,200 calorie need for the day. In order to meet that, we see over to the right of that box our daily food group targets and the food groups and servings that would essentially make up that 2,200 calorie limit, with the second row being how much she's actually consumed from those food groups. And then a little visual here to give us an idea of whole grains, refined grains, etc. When we're actually putting in foods, I want to show you a little bit about what you might encounter. So I put in granola bar in the search right there, and we can see that for the results, there's a ton of granola bars that come up. So if the client isn't specific or the assignment isn't specific, then what you choose might be different than what one of your classmates chooses. So there might be some discrepancy between assignments. And that's okay at this point. And again, we'll talk about accuracy a little bit later on when it's more appropriate for the topic for the course. But what I just want you to know now is how to get this information in here and where there might be some variation between your results and a classmate's results. So the reports that I am looking for after we get to this point and after we put in all of our food, and again, this as you probably noticed, isn't the same food that is in your assignment. That's something that you guys will have to put in. But ultimately, after you've done that, we've got to go over to these two links right under the graph. So the first one is the nutrient intake report, and that will generate for the day that we are currently on in which we click that link. If we want to do multiple days, we can change that timeline so we could view the report from, for instance, the 19th to the 22nd. We'd hit create report, and that would pull up an average of the nutrient intake over those days. But for now, we're just given an example and looking at this one day, and we can see the target nutrients that Susan needs. We can see the average that she's eaten, and again, this is just one day, so it's not really an average. And then the status. Did she eat enough? Did she eat too much? Is she under, over, okay? And this is going to show us all of our vitamins, minerals, and then recommendations for carbs, fats, and proteins. So then you can just export this as a PDF and go ahead and upload it right into the assignment to turn that in. So I'm just going to close this for now. The second report is the view by meal, again, right under this graph. It is very important that you choose the view by meal specifically because this gives us a lot of information for the follow-up questions and some of the conclusions that we can draw about Susan's intake. So this view by meal will tell us a couple things. First off, it'll tell us in each meal the total servings from each food group that Susan consumed. So that's this first block right up here. The second block tells us the foods that we actually put in there. And then it also will tell us what those counted for in terms of the food groups. This third block right here, it compares the My Plan target, so actually how many servings that were recommended, to what she's actually consumed. So for instance, it's recommended that she consume 6 teaspoons of oil per day. Based on what we put in, she actually consumed 8, so she ended up being a little bit over on these recommendations. Again, at this point, we're just drawing some basic conclusions, so I just want you to think about this in terms of, did she meet her needs? Did she go over? Did she go under? We'll build on this and give some more conclusions to be drawn as we get further along in the course. And then finally, this reviews a couple other things, our added sugars, our sodium, our saturated fat, and this can be found in that nutrient report as well. But really the important information from this view by meal is the foods we actually put in, how we compared to those food groups, and then ultimately the food groups that are at the different meals. So this is one where it's probably easiest to save it or print it as a PDF and then upload it as well. And these are going to be the 2 reports that need to be uploaded. If you have uploaded a different report in place of one of these, please go back and upload this instead.